I'm not going to get Vanguard because the negatives simply outweigh the positives. I'm making this video for myself to look back on in the future, but if someone watching thinks these takes are based, then great. So I want to start by outlining the only positive advancement in Vanguard, which is the combat pacing. If you want every match to play like Nuketown or Shipment, then you can get that experience, but on any map with the Blitz pacing. The slow tactical players can do their thing in the other 6v6 and other combat pacing settings, but everyone else who is a camo grinder or just wants more action can get that gameplay with the Blitz setting. So besides the combat pacing, the only other quote-unquote positives of the game are things that don't deserve praise. So this includes things like weapon camos covering the whole gun. That should just be expected. We've had camos that cover the whole gun since literally the original Modern Warfare. Cold War came in and fucked it up by having mastery camos that didn't cover the whole gun, and even a year later, the devs still didn't fix it, and even made insulting comments on Twitter saying that it's subjectively good. Like, literally the whole community is in agreement that it should be fixed. Another positive that doesn't deserve praise is them fixing the footstep audio and making it quieter. And this incentivizes people to actually move around the map and play the game instead of sitting in a corner like a rat relying on audio to know when people are coming. And I would go as far as saying that dead silence and ninja should just be removed from the game entirely, and they should just balance the footsteps such that, you know, it just works. And you shouldn't have to rely on a crutch perk like ninja to like play the game properly. Okay, another positive that doesn't deserve praise is the kill streaks actually being kill streaks instead of score streaks. The formula that they had worked for many years. Like, a kill streak was a kill streak. It rewarded you for going on streaks and playing well. And then they turned it into score streaks, where simply by participating in the game, you could earn, you could call in kill streaks and, the noobs would be happy. But what we saw happen in Cold War is, like, you have score streaks such as the air patrol that are only 2,400 points, and you just have constant score streaks all game long. You got people calling in air patrols to counter air patrols that are countering someone else's air patrol to counter the chopper gunner. Like, it was just ridiculous. Like, anyone with any sort of skill could get, any sort of decent score streak. And so then what happens is, in game modes like domination and stuff, in the second half, everyone just starts getting score streaks and calling it in, and it's an absolute clusterfuck. So the fact that they reverted to kill streaks actually being kill streaks, like, that doesn't deserve praise. That was a formula that worked for years, and they should have just kept going with that. So in my opinion, that's nothing to praise. That's nothing new. Let's talk about operator challenges. Great, that's all fine and dandy. My response, why did it take this long to come up with that? Like, operator challenges should have just been a thing that existed since they introduced operators to the game. It makes sense. Even back in games like Black Ops 3, where you had like the hero gear and stuff, whatever happened to that? Where did hero gear go for all those years between Black Ops 3 and now? I don't get it. That's another thing. It doesn't deserve praise. This should have been here all along. And also, you can talk about how they added like these extra challenges where you can unlock these special animations and everything for like the final kill cams and whatnot. That's really not groundbreaking. Like, that's not groundbreaking. This not like a big feature of the game that should be praised. That's just something that they should have introduced in the second game that ever had operators. And so now let's talk about the negatives of the game, the cons. And there are a lot more cons than any sort of positives, such as combat pacing. So let's just get a couple quick things out of the way first, such as having thermal scopes in a World War II game. That shouldn't exist. That's a con. The zombies mode. You can't pause in solo, and that pretty much summarizes how bad zombies is this year. We've also got to talk about store bundles, because you can bet your ass that they're going to put out as many store bundles as they can, just like they did in Cold War, where it costs, $18 to $24 for some basic cosmetics, and they're going to put way more effort into these store bundles than anything that's actually in-game. Like, clearly this model is selling, and they come out with a new bundle, and all the YouTubers and streamers are going to buy it, and they're going to review it and do all this, and they're going to make an easy cash grab off of this. And in return, People who are just playing the game, normal customers, are going to be hurt by this because the actual content in the game is going to suffer. And they're going to focus all their energy towards these bundles that obviously are making them the most money. Next is the camo challenges. It's going to be an intense grind. You know, people are saying that, you know, it's really not that bad, but it's like there's challenges like getting point blanks with the snipers and the LMGs and whatnot. And, you know, even if they end up patching it and they change the challenges, why is it like that at launch? It's who greenlighted that idea? And same thing in Cold War. Who thought that the Thumper and Launcher challenges were okay to be put in the game? Who actually thought that that was balanced? And to me, it just speaks volumes to the fact that the devs aren't really playing their game. And, you know, they're not focusing on the issues that actually make the gameplay fun. You know, they're just following along with whatever Activision forces them to do and whatever makes them the most money. And, you know, it really makes you question, like, what are you getting out of a camo grind? Like, are you having fun while you're grinding camos? Are you having fun while you're mounted on a wall in the back of the map going for long shots? Is that fun gameplay to you? And lastly, we have things like skill-based matchmaking, and I'm really not going to go that in-depth on it because I think this topic is discussed heavily in the community. It's just annoying. You know, I feel like they should be putting their effort on, like, how do we make balanced queues? How do we group together people with different inputs? Those should be the topics that are at the front of the discussion, not whether or not camos cover your entire weapon. So maybe after all of this, maybe I'm just a fucking boomer, you know? Like, I've been playing Call of Duty since Call of Duty 3, and I literally play split screen with my neighbors. So I've been playing Call of Duty for a long time, and it's just gotten old. I mean, it's really, you can tell that it's just turned into a business, and it's just completely taken over how the game operates. You know, people used to play for fun, and, you know, it was this fun, novel thing you would do with your friends, and it's just completely turned into a business now. You know, people make their living off of playing Call of Duty, the pros. And Activision knows this. They know how to monetize the game. They know how to fucking milk every cent out of everyone. And it's just not the same as it used to be. And, you know, I've felt this way about Call of Duty since Black Ops 3. Up until Black Ops 3, I had played most Call of Duties. And then after Black Ops 3, you know, I didn't play until Cold War. And Cold War really should have been the game. It really should have been the game that revived Call of Duty for me. You know, it was perfectly set up. You know, the time period, the fact that Treyarch was working on it, you know, it really could have been a lot more. And you can blame it on the pandemic or whatever, but really, I don't think that is the crux of the issue. You know, I think Activision made Treyarch monetize Cold War with all the bundles, and I think the developers were stretched thin and they didn't get to work on the actual issues of the game. Not to mention that I think originally the developers were brought in, Treyarch was brought in to work on Cold War when originally they weren't supposed to. And I think they kind of took over control of the game. And this is happening again with Sledgehammer. Now Treyarch's been looped in to help with the zombies, and, you know, Activision's just not letting them run their own game. And I think that this cycle is doomed to repeat with Vanguard. I don't think we're going to see any changes. I think it's just going to be a letdown throughout the year, and they're going to maintain the minimum amount of effort to keep people talking about the game and keep them buying bundles, etc., etc. So my advice for everyone out there is to vote with your wallet and don't buy the game. Literally spend your time and energy somewhere else that's more productive, or play a better game, honestly. But until you vote with your wallet, nothing is going to change. That is literally the only way that you can make any sort of statement to Activision. But unfortunately, I just don't see enough people voting with their wallet, because streamers will always be buying the games, and, you know, kids will always buy the games, and people want to play what's current. That's the thing about the yearly Call of Duty release. You know, there's a new Call of Duty, there's a new current game to play, and everyone wants to be in the loop. You want to be doing what everyone else is doing, and I think that's a really big attractor, even if the game's actually dog shit. But overall, I'm not a kid anymore, and I can't just mindlessly play the game. Like, when I sit down to play, I truly think, is this something worth spending my time on? And the answer is no. So it's really just that simple, and that's my 2 cents on it.